So you're saying that that based on what Johnny Depp's lawyers have filed, that it seems like that his side suspects that Amber Heard has perhaps doctored some of the footage or some of the evidence?
Yeah, well, what they have is they have an analyst who's looked at the digital data that she's produced, right? So her image files, her, things of that nature. And so they've reviewed the metadata that's associated with those. And based on that, they have identified certain types of discrepancies. Like sometimes there's, data that gets added in by a third-party application. Like if you have a photo editing app on your phone that you use or something like that. Geolocation data changes, time and date, data changes. So there's just a variety of things that have been identified for some of those images she's produced that has led them to say, obviously there are discrepancies here. That's why we need the imaging to explain them.
Okay, I see. Do you is that the fact that they're saying there might be some discrepancies, or there are some discrepancies, is that generally indicative of something, or could that also be just innocent? I was just curious if you knew how fishy, if it felt
I
fishy
really don't know. It sounds like there may be something fishy with metadata. Specifically, there was a reference to creation dates that were after like last access dates or something like that. So it like the things are out of order, and so it does look like that's something somebody might have to like specifically modify. Unless there's a weird bug, I don't know. I'm not the expert.
Right. Could be. Yeah, it could be. Okay, so the discovery, and we talk about discovery issues, we're really talking about basically like making sure that both sides have access to all of the evidence information they're supposed to, and no one's holding back anything. Is that basically the issue?
Yeah, this is the evidence gathering stuff. And so discovery disputes in general are, the stuff between them about who has to hand over what. It's also the arguments that have been going on about the depositions. I saw there was a re-litigation of some type in New York over Anthony Romero's deposition, the head of the ACLU. And it looks like nothing changed there. So he is still going to have to be deposed, and that could be really bad news for him. So hence why they fought so hard.
Assuming that the judge, that she doesn't have the kinds of biases that we think that, or that I think at least that the UK judge had, or whatever issues he had, assuming that she's a fair judge, open-minded judge, do you feel like there's enough evidence on Johnny Depp's side that if one were being objective, that it should be pretty damn clear that Amber Heard is guilty? I mean, is his case pretty compelling, objectively, legally?
Oh, I found the UK case objectively legally compelling, and they have a ton more since they went to trial there. So, I mean, from my perspective, it's overwhelming. You never get a case this strong. You pray for a case this strong. Ben
Really?
Shu is possibly like the luckiest lawyer who has ever lived, because he's got such a good case for such a high profile client, and he is going to have an absolute blast in this trial.
And first of all, that's really amazing too, or that's fascinating. And I just have to ask, so is the reason why the case, why he does have such a good case, and why the case against Amber Heard is so strong, is the reason for that because of the audacity of what she did? Like you just don't see a hoax or a scheme like this very often, because most of the time people don't have the audacity to do it? Or was she just very sloppy and careless, or how would you characterize it?
Yeah, it's a good question, because my opinion, I feel like the audacity really cuts against him. It's hard for a jury to think, oh yeah, come on, a hoax, yeah, we're gonna buy that all these people got involved in this hoax. But the problem is that once you are confronted with the dishonesty after dishonesty after dishonesty, it just becomes hard to, you know, to give her really any credibility. There's just too much that is, you know, plainly contradicted by objective evidence, you know, photographs at the time, other people being around, that type of
Right.
thing. You never know what a jury is going to do and what a jury is going to think. The
Right.
thing that everybody, you know, would, I think, do well to remember is that we like to think that jury trials are, you know, about the evidence and right and wrong and, you know, painfully applying the law and stuff. But what the studies of jury analysts and people like that tend to come up with is that it's actually the jury tends to decide the case really, really early on, and they decide it
Mm,
based on who they like, you
mm,
know, and so
wow.
it's going to be really important for him to recognize Amber Heard. You know, he knows Amber Heard obviously better than we do, but we can assume she's got some charm, you know, and that
Yeah.
has carried her really far in life. um he needs to remember that, and think about how he can make himself as likable as possible to the jury.
Right. Right.